Hey guys, welcome back to another Ferrari Formula 1 Evolution video illustrated with 1/18 scale models. This is the F2004 made by Hot Wheels, and it had the tobacco livery already applied when I bought it, and it was driven by Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello. Following 2003, where Ferrari won their 5th consecutive Constructors Championship, though just by the skin of their teeth, some thought 2004 would finally be the year Ferrari got dethroned. Well, not gonna happen. Ferrari didn't show much in testing, but when they showed up to Australia for the first race of the season, they got pole by almost 6/10, dominated the race at a pace of about 1 second a lap faster than anyone else. The Formula 1 world pretty much knew that it was going to be a landslide for Ferrari. Now, there were some regulation changes for 2004, where the rear wing could now only have 2 elements versus 3 in 2003. The rear wing end plates and engine cover had to be larger for advertising reasons, but otherwise the car was an evolution of the previous year's car. So what made the F2004 so much better than the F2003 GA? Well, the number one reason is tires. Bridgestone made a very good tire, but a lot of that came because of Ferrari's requirements based upon their car design. It had been well documented by this time that Ferrari and Bridgestone had a very close relationship, and Ferrari's philosophy for 2004 was to run short stints. This meant a smaller fuel cell, lightweight fuel loads, and soft tires with high degradation. Thus, Bridgestone created a tire that they needed. It should be said that Bridgestone was not a very good tire in qualifying over one lap, as it struggled to come up to temperature compared to the Michelins, but in the race the tire was excellent. Despite a rule change that required the engine to last the entire race event, Ferrari's power output increased to upwards of 930 brake horsepower, revving to 18,750 RPM. Ferrari used a 3-element front wing for the first half of the season, and then upgraded to a more efficient 2-element design, which is more ideal for tracks like Spa and Hockenheim. The barge boards were made up of 2 pieces. Ferrari recognized how important it was to control the airflow not just under the car, but around the undercut side pods that were introduced in 2003. The side pods had the shark gill cooling vents similar to the F2003 GA, though Ferrari later upgraded to the chimney-style vents, which would extract the hot air to the outside of the car. This was more efficient as it meant less disturbance in airflow towards the rear wing. These winglets increased in surface area with a much more aggressive scoop design. While this may have increased drag, it surely would have increased downforce as well. Ferrari started the season with this engine cover winglet that directed airflow towards the rear wing. It was later revised to a smaller version. Also note the mirrors were mounted in a more streamlined fashion. The exhaust pipes were positioned closer to the center line of the chassis and mounted on an angle. This had some aerodynamic benefits as well as improved center of gravity. As mentioned earlier, the rear wing now only had 2 elements. Now one would assume the wing had a reduction in downforce, which is why Ferrari worked hard at improving the airflow towards the rear wing, which likely resulted in a better downforce to drag ratio over the F2003 GA. A major improvement on the car was something viewers couldn't really see, and that was to the floor and the diffuser. I remember talks about the Ferrari having a flexible floor, and surely the wings as well. This allowed for proper downforce levels in the corners, but would reduce drag at higher speeds on the straight. Nothing was ever deemed illegal, but it did force the FIA to introduce stricter tests on the wing flexing. Regardless, Ferrari developed an incredible floor, which was largely why the car was so much more efficient than the rest of the field. Most everyone knows the F2004 completely destroyed its competition in 2004, and many still see it as the best Formula 1 car ever built. But just how good was it? Well, it won 15 of 18 races. 7 of those wins they finished over 20 seconds ahead of their closest competitor. Keeping in mind, Ferrari often would turn the engines down mid-race for reliability. Ferrari's race pace on average is about 8/10 faster than BAR and Williams, who were the second and third best cars. The F2004 had the highest average top speed. It took Michael Schumacher to a record-breaking 13 victories, and if you wipe out Schumacher's results without even reallocating those points, his teammate Rubens Barrichello still wins the championship by a landslide. 15 years later, the F2004 still holds many race lap records, and when it comes to completing a Grand Prix the fastest, based on the car's given rules, the F2004 is still the greatest of all time. So if you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe for future videos. If you want to support the channel, there's a couple of links in the description. And as always, thanks for watching.